It's just after 4 this morning. Opposition Leader Dave Barrett has been arguing on behalf of a colleague to adjourn debate on Bill 2. That's one of the government's big layoff bills. But the acting Speaker, John Parks, says there will be no adjournment. And he says Barrett has no right to challenge well-established House rules. But Barrett continues to argue, and after repeated requests to stop, he is picked up bodily at 10 to 5 and is literally dragged out of the House by Sergeant-at-Arms staff.
The issue at stake here was our parliamentary right to speak in this House, particularly when the rules are interpreted wrongly. Mr. Barrett refused to leave. The Speaker asked him to leave several times. He still refused to leave. The net result was that the Sergeant-at-Arms was requested by the Speaker to remove Mr. Barrett bodily, which they did. 3 people literally picked Mr. Barrett up and carried him out of the House.
Lockstead was sitting in the row behind Barrett. We weren't allowed to take footage of the opposition leader being thrown out of the House into the hallway. That's because last month the Speaker banned cameras from his corridor. But here's Barrett right after he picked himself up off the floor.
I have never, in my 23 years, witnessed anything as arbitrary or immoral as what has just happened.
John Parks, the rookie Socreds MLA, was chairing the sitting. He decided Barrett must go.
So it's well-established precedent and tradition that a member does not challenge the chair. When I was in that chair, I was not acting as an individual MLA, but I was acting as Speaker. And that's the tradition that most members, I feel I'm obliged to say all members, with this minor exception, have seen fit to respect and not challenge.
This afternoon, Dave Barrett told CBC News his parliamentary career might be over, but he has no regrets.
It is not a question of a sacrifice to me. I've done a lot of things in politics, and this has got to rank as one of my proudest moments. People have died for the right to be here. Now, many citizens out there assume that Parliament is something we've always had. People have died for the right to be here. And while we're here, we must obey the traditions, the rules, and the laws. If those laws are violated, that I am morally responsible to stand up in that chamber and say no, no, no. Listen, my conscience is clear, and I tell the citizens of this province, we are bordering on insanity with the government we have in this province. And when they flaunt the laws, when they flaunt the rules of the chamber, they are asking for disrespect for the system. The system is more important than social credit or the NDP or Bill Bennett or Dave Barrett. I tell everybody is a loser when Parliament loses some of its rights. And I warn people calmly and seriously that Parliament is losing some of its rights in this madness.
Premier Bennett was asked if the government will relent and let Barrett back into the House.
I haven't made any decision. We had delegations today that were previously scheduled, so obviously we've been busy on other things.
Well, it wasn't discussed at all?
I said we had delegations today, so
Well, you didn't talk about the issue directly this morning, Mr. Bennett, and we're under the some impression that you're...
I have nothing to say right now.
Do you know when you're going to have something to say about this?
You'll be amongst the first to know.
The fight was contained over the interpretation of rules in this little book called the Standing Orders. Basically, it tells MLAs how to behave when they're in the legislature. If they misbehave, the Speaker can throw them out for a few hours or for an indefinite period of time. In Barrett's case, he'll be out for the full session. But what if this session goes until next May, when Barrett plans to retire from politics? Well, it means this morning's debate will be a historic point in the BC legislature. For the handful of reporters, politicians, and the public in the spectators' gallery, it'll be the last time they'll ever see Barrett shake his fist or shout to the rafters. John Stanton, CBC News, at the legislature.